Book 1. The Sorrows of Boethius. Song 1 and Chapter 1 Summary. Lady Philosophy appears to a downcast Boethius, tall, shabby, but authoritative. She rebukes the Muses of poetry, whose emotional thorns choked reason out of his mind. Boethius waits to hear her speak. Song 1. Boethius's Complaint. I, who wrote my eager anthems smoothly once in happier days, am compelled in tears and sadness now a mournful song to raise. See, the Muses, grief dishevelled, guide my pen and voice my pain. From their cheeks unfeigned the teardrops overflow as I complain. They alone in danger's hour, faithful found, have dared attend on the footsteps of the exile to his lonely journey's end. They who were the pride and pleasure of my youth and high estate still remain the only solace of an old man's mournful fate. Old? Ah, yes, swift, ere I knew it, by these sorrows on me pressed, age has come. Look, grief has bid me wear the garb that fits her best. On my head, untimely sprinkled, these white hairs my woes proclaim, and the skin hangs loose and shriveled on this sorrow-shrunken frame. Blessed is death that intervenes not in the sweet, sweet years of peace, but unto the broken-hearted, when they call him, brings release. Yet death passes by the wretched, shuts his ear and slumbers deep, will not heed the cry of anguish, will not close the eyes that weep. For although unfaithful fortune pours her gifts and all is bright, death's dark hour can still engulf me in the gloom of endless night. Now, because misfortune's shadow has o'erclouded that false face, cruel life still halts and lingers, though I loathe his weary race. Friends, why did you once so lightly call me happy among men? Surely he who so has fallen was not firmly founded then. Chapter 1. While I was silently reflecting within myself in this way, and recording my sorrowful complaints with my pen, it seemed to me that an awe-inspiring woman appeared above my head. Her eyes burned bright as fire, clearly having supernatural perception. Her color was warm and healthy, and her energy showed no trace of decay. Yet her years were advanced, and she clearly seemed to belong to a different age and time. I could not figure out how tall she was, for at one moment she seemed of ordinary height, while at another her forehead seemed to strike the sky. Whenever she raised her head higher, she began to pierce the heavens themselves and to baffle the eyes of those who looked upon her. Her garments were of an imperishable fabric, sewn with the finest threads and the most delicate workmanship, and these, as her own lips afterward assured me, she had woven with her own hands. Age and neglect had somewhat tarnished the beauty of this garment, which wore that dingy look that marble receives from exposure. On the hem the Greek letter P was embroidered, and on the neck the letter theta. Steps, like a staircase, connected the lower to the upper letter. This robe, however, had been torn by the hands of violent people who had each snatched away whatever he could clutch. Her right hand held a notebook. In her left, she bore a scepter. When she saw the Muses of poetry standing by my bedside, dictating the words of my lamentations, she was briefly moved to wrath, and her eyes flashed sternly. Who, she demanded, has allowed these melodramatic prostitutes to approach this sick man? Far from giving medicine to heal his sickness, they feed it with sweet poison. It is they who kill the rich crop of reason with the barren thorns of passion, who accustom men's minds to disease instead of setting them free. Now, if it were some common man you were seducing with your charms, as you usually do, I would not be as indignant, for I would not have worked hard for nothing. But this one has been nurtured in the Eleatic and academic philosophies. No, get out, you sirens whose sweetness quickly fades. Leave him for my muses to tend and heal. At these words of rebuke, the whole group, in deep sadness, with downcast eyes and blushes that confessed their shame, dejectedly left the room. But because my sight was blurred with much weeping, so that I couldn't recognize this woman who showed such dominant authority, I was dumbfounded. With my gaze fastened on the earth, I silently waited for whatever she might do next. Then she drew near to me and sat on the edge of my bed, and, looking into my face all heavy with grief and fixed in sadness on the ground, she lamented the disorder of my mind with these words: